where Lungu has been embroiled in a long-standing feud with his successor, President Hakainde Hichilema. The ruling today comes as some family members gather at the Cathedral of Christ the King in Hillbrow, Joburg, where the funeral was set to take place. Lungu died earlier this month at a medical centre in Pretoria, where he had been receiving specialised treatment. We will have more on this story in our later bulletins. Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero has described the motion of no confidence against him as a plot to destabilise his administration. Morero is facing a DA-sponsored no confidence vote today, just 10 months since his election to that top position. The DA says its decision to file the motion was prompted by its perception that Morero is incapable of saving the city. Addressing council this afternoon, Morero says the latest attempt to axe him is malicious.
We should have no fear. Like I said, we are here today because of a democratic process, not because this motion of no confidence that aimed to destabilize the city of Johannesburg.
DA Regional Leader Belinda Kezia Echiozonjoku says something has to be done about the Metro's leadership.
We all know that the city has collapsed under this current coalition that is led by the executive mayor. He has become a mayor that is rogue. We've now seen a bomb squad that he has also appointed without council approval, without consulting any of the political parties.
We shift our focus to this now. A Sangoma arrested in connection with the murder of a 2-year-old has abandoned his bail application. Sebukwane Gaunyana appeared in the Vanderbijl Park Magistrates Court alongside Kinelwe Shalaba, who is the mother of the child. The two face charges of kidnapping and premeditated murder in connection with the child's disappearance. Jabuli Limbata reports.
The public gallery in court was packed with community members calling for justice for the murder of 2-year-old Kutlwano Shalaba. Some in attendance have told EWN they know Kutlwano's mother, Kinelwe Shalaba, personally and were very concerned when in November last year she reported the child had been kidnapped. Days later, she was arrested in connection with his disappearance. She was also questioned about receiving 75,000 rand on the day her child vanished. Further investigation by police in May this year linked her to Sangoma Sebukwane Gaunyana. He pointed out where Kutlwano was buried in Beggersdal and was arrested. Gaunyana informed the court today that he will not be applying for bail. Magistrate Michael Tlali reminded him that he is able to apply for bail at a later stage.
So whenever accused number 2 wishes to bring a bail application at any time, he must arrange with the state so that this matter is transferred to the court.
The two suspects will remain in custody until their next court appearance in August. Jabuli Limbata, Eyewitness News, Vanderbijl Park Magistrates Court.
And as the country commemorates the 70th anniversary since the adoption of the Freedom Charter, heritage sites and landmarks attached to the event remain neglected and in ruin. The charter was adopted during a historic Congress of the People's Meeting in 1955 to create a blueprint for a democratic South Africa. Thabiso Goba travelled to the small town of Alice in the Eastern Cape, where it all began, and filed this report.
In 1953, ANC Cape leader Z.K. Matthews called for an all-inclusive national convention to draw up a freedom charter for a future South Africa. At the time, Matthews was one of the country's most distinguished black intellectuals, teaching at the University of Fort Hare. However, the course of history may be different if Chief Mkazuli Tyali did not donate his land to accommodate the university. Matthews' house and Chief Tyali's gravesites were declared national heritage sites to honor their contributions towards the country's freedom. Both sites are currently run down and dilapidated due to years of neglect. Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane says the provincial government is concerned by the state of some of its heritage sites.
Because our interest is to turn those into tourist products, into tourist destinations. So it is in our interest to work it out and look at that as part of developing Alice. We've invested a lot in Alice, where the Z.K. Matthews building is. We are putting a small town revitalization program there.
Mabuyane says renovating heritage sites is not an easy process and requires authorization from a number of government departments. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News, Alice.
And the UK is set to buy 12 fighter jets capable of carrying tactical nuclear weapons. According to reports, this is in an effort to strengthen its nuclear capabilities. Prime Minister Keir Starmer is expected to make the announcement about the purchase today in The Hague, where NATO allies are meeting. The government says the programme will support 20,000 jobs and more than 100 companies across the UK in the supply chain. Gold is trading at $3,328.47 an ounce. The rand is at 17.73 to the dollar, 24.12 to the pound, 20.56 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $68.05 a barrel.
In Linwood, Pretoria, roadworks still causing about a 2-hour delay on the N1 South between Storenville and Atterbury Road. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Edenville at Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeck, as well as in Randburg at Malibongo Drive and CR Swart.
It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 20 and 22 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News. The Pretoria High Court has halted the burial of Zambia's former president, Edgar Lungu, in South Africa.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Choose the 8 kilometer for those walking strong, the 6.7 kilometer in honor of Mandela Month, or the 4 kilometer for families and first timers in 702's Walk the Talk. Tickets on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja.
Live, streaming countrywide
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Nine minutes after 1 o'clock, welcome to 702 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. So excited to be in all of your company for today on this Wednesday, the 25th of June. What we've got coming up on the show, I'm going to be asking all of you around favour banking. Do you guys know what favour banking is? Don't worry, I'm going to tell you all about it. You might be guilty of doing it, or you might be the type of person who has been at the receiving end of favour banking. Then we're going to do a little catch up with executive producer of Afternoon Drive with John Perlman, that is Kabazela, and we're going to find out about Aquales as the hydration partner for the Walk the Talk. So we'll do a crossing with him. Our finance feature, we're going to talk about money lessons that you wish you had learned sooner with Melody Kluti, training specialist at Bidvest Life. Then in the second hour of the show, it will be a masterclass. I'm so excited about this masterclass because we are going to be talking about producing a TV series that is based on historical events, and we'll have the phenomenal team of Shaka iLembe joining us. We'll have co-executive producer of Shaka iLembe, Nomza Mombata. We'll have Jacob Njangase, who is writer and researcher, as well as Desiree Machraf, who is also an executive producer on Shaka iLembe, and I'm so excited for that one. Get your questions in early, especially when it comes to true events. How is it that you put this thing together? I am looking forward to it. Get in touch with us. Give us a call. 011 883 0702. SMS us 31702. Tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 Afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
What is favour banking? I discovered this term and I absolutely love learning about all these interesting and new terms. favor banking is something that, I heard about from a gentleman that is 5H Ahem on TikTok, and he's talking about favor banking. Now, I want you to take a listen to his explanation, and then I want to know from all of you, are you guilty of this, or have you been at the receiving end of favor banking? There are many things that happen that only are starting to get like terminology now. Take a listen.
Have you heard of the term favor banking? Favor banking is a manipulation tactic where someone is creating a debt when they do you favors. It is not out of the kindness of their heart or generosity. It is so they can intentionally create a system where you owe them and they are pressuring you to repay them in the future. That is what favor banking is.
So some of the examples that he has given, right, is that the person goes out of their way to do a so-called favor for you, right? So let's say it's a lift. It could be any favor, but you know that there is a time where you're going to have to pay back in a pressurized kind of way. And I really had to dig deep and think to myself, do people genuinely do favors from the kindness of their hearts, or do they do favors remembering in their minds, yeah, remember I helped you that time, so now I want this thing. And then not only are they banking that favor to remind you later, you paying back does not necessarily match what favor it was that they did for you. And it's a tricky one to think about because the way that he is describing it sounds very directly manipulative, if I'm supposed to call it that way. And maybe a person is not being intentionally manipulative, but in some ways you might think of it that way. So let me give an example of a scenario. Let's say somebody helped you print out your CV for a job interview, okay? And now you're like, thank you so much. You go to this job interview. Then let's say 6 months later, this person loses their job and you got the job where you are. Now they say to you, look, I'm unemployed when I was sebetsa, and ibile I got you that job. If it weren't for me, ke go printela CV. Now they're expecting you to pay them back in ways that don't necessarily make sense or possibly make you feel uncomfortable. So it's a new term, and I think it is so important to think about how we operate with one another. Do you ever think about who do I want to owe me a favor? Let's say you have free tickets to somewhere. And then you think to yourself, let me not just give them to the person who's been asking for tickets. Let me give them to the person I want to owe me a favor. And what are the limitations of that favor? Let me know. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
We are woven into the same soil that shapes South Africa. Its dreams, its energy, its promise. These guide us. Together, we've built progress hand in hand, from the mines to bustling main streets, from one generation to the next. With communities, government, and partners, every initiative from healthcare to education, youth empowerment to entrepreneurship lights the way forward. Because we don't just mine minerals, we mine possibility and progress with purpose. Together, we're shaping what's next, mining potential, building beyond. Anglo-American.
Hi there, I am Amahle, a stem cell donor. What started out as curiosity turned into an opportunity for me to save a life. Naturally, I was taken aback when I was found to be a match for a patient in need. In South Africa, over 4,000 people die of blood cancer each year. I donated stem cells and I was able to give someone else a second chance at life. Register to become a stem cell donor at thekmsafrica.org so you too can be a lifesaver.
Doll, you know you can't tell us anything, hey? You realize we can see all these men bringing you gifts at all hours, right?
Sorry?
Sweetie, we know about your weakness for men in uniform.
Excuse me? Those men in uniform work for one cart, and they understand my needs. Michelle, they shop the entire mall for me, like Macro, Lint, Toy Kingdom, and more. Maybe you should download One Cart and get your needs delivered in 60 minutes.
Quiet, please. The Wimbledon experience in Mzansi is back at Amex Tennis Town Monte Casino between 11 and 13 July 2025. Enjoy VIP hospitality, the ultimate big screen experience, and more than just strawberries and cream. Buy your tickets now using your Amex card on Howler and get 50% off on limited tickets. Amex Tennis Town, the championship's Wimbledon experience with the Mzansi advantage. Tennis is better with Amex.
Our massive annual sale is finally here. Get to iLembe today for up to 33% off a selection of our best brands, like the 40 Winks Extra Firm Active Zone Queen Set, reduced to only 11,999. Shop in-store or online right now. Plus, get fast delivery on our best sellers. iLembe, sleep for life.
This week marks the final installment of Season 4 of R&B Africa Focus on 702, and we're shining the spotlight on Africa's competitive edge in global markets. Join award-winning journalist Crystal Alderson for one last deep dive into the sectors and strategies positioning Africa as a force in world trade and investment. Don't miss R&B Africa Focus this Thursday on 702 Drive with John Perlman. R&B is a proud sponsor of B20 and a leading African corporate and investment bank.
Your voice.
Your life.
Your afternoon radio.
On 702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Mabotja.
18 minutes after 1 o'clock, and we're talking about favour banking. Is it something that you do? Maybe you've been unaware, where you bank favours with people, but in a kind of like manipulative way, where you want to call in that favour back and remind them, I did this, and make them pay you back in your way, in your time, and that the person feels uncomfortable and possibly even realizes that, this guy was not doing this favour from the kindness of their heart. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. We go to the lines. We have Lawrence in Joburg South. Lawrence, how's it?
I'm very well, yourself.
I'm doing well.
Interesting topic, eh? Very tough one indeed, and it touches many aspects of our lives. I'll give you just one example right now. I'm giving you a comment and my expectation, the favor that you call me back and save my airtime.
I love that. I love that. So who do you do favors for?
So, geez, I've been doing favors for everyone, but I thought I was helping people. I was doing a favor in kind, but however, unconsciously, I am expecting that when I call you for something, you give me something. Or I give you so much. They call people like myself people pleasers. I do so much for you. I'm at everyone's call, and without noticing it, I expect them to give me the favor of love. They must worship the ground I walk on. They should praise me at every time.
And the thing is, I don't blame you for feeling that way. Mm-hmm. Like with what you're saying, I feel like that's just a norm. Why is it an illness?
It's an illness. It's like people who have experienced certain traumas in life want validation from other people. And thus they would work extra hard to please people, so that's calling it we doing favors. But other than that, they're actually rubbing them up the nice way. I rub your back, that you will rub mine in a way that I'm not going to ask you to do anything, but you are just going to give me love and make me feel welcome in your space.
Okay, I hear you. Yo. And look, many people suffer from the people-pleasing thing, but I never thought about it from the favor banking perspective, because in my mind it was always more from the perspective of at some point expect you go phonela, as opposed to because I'm doing nice things for you, I expect you to show up for me and make me feel a certain way. But I get you. It's I never thought of it that way.
You ask me you ask me to buy you airtime, I expect you to call me. And not that I need calls, but when you call me, I feel important. Now, this is subconscious. And on the other hand, I'll save my tickets for someone whom I'm going to need something from.
You see, you see, that is the favor banking. But what I'm going to do, Lawrence, I'm going to let you go because there's so many other people I want to give a chance to. You see, if you have the free thing and you're like, who do I need a favor from? I need to give these tickets to somebody I can call another time to say, don't forget. Paul in Midrand, hi, go ahead.
Hi. You know, these things of favor banking, it can work two ways. Sometimes we give people money saying that, you see what, I have people whom I put batons on. There are so much people which I say that if I've given them money, if they want to pay it back to me, I say, wait, don't pay it back. I'll come and fetch it on the other day. It means that the bank,
Paul always. Oh no, I think we've lost Paul. Paul, are you still there? Oh my goodness, Paul's network. We'll see if we can get Paul back. But with Paul saying, and I think I do it too, Paul's example is that if I borrow somebody money and then they're like, I'm ready to pay you, like, no, don't worry, keep the money. I'll come back for you to pay me back. I think, because I just realized maybe I do it. So if, let's say, we're sitting having a meal with somebody, and then the bill comes and I decide I'm going to pay for the bill. And they're like, no, please. I'm like, you're in my town. So like, let's say my friend's visiting from Cape Town. I'll pay, you'll take the next one. Maybe there is manipulation in that. I never have thought of it. Because go Cape Town, yay, the bill is worse. Maybe I never thought of it like that. But I don't know. I've never actually said, hey, when take me to dinner because remember I paid for lunch when you were in Jozi. One says, high level, men do the favor banking all the time. When a man does something for a woman, there are usually expectations of getting something in return. Word. To the point that a man will even say, but I paid for dinner and I bought you flowers. What else did you expect? That's what is said. So if a woman goes and complains about the fact that I went on a date with this guy, blah, 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 and he fetched me and this, and then afterwards you're like, but I wasn't trying to stay over at his place. People will be in the comments saying, but he did this, and this, so what did you expect? Or others, the other one is where they say, if a man is taking you on a vacation, like you guys are going away, and he spent for the trip, he's buying the food, he's flown you, and then you get there and you're not doing certain things that two adults do on holiday, they say, but what did you expect? I never thought of it that way. Your voice notes on 0727021702.
Hi, Relebogile. Favor banking. I do a lot of favors from the goodness of my heart, but I don't expect anything in return because it's something that I was doing you a favor for. However, the moment you're going to do that, you're going to hit me with that favor banking ish, I write you off, man. I'm not even giving you a second chance. And then sharp, I'll do you whatever favor that you request of me. But then from there on, I won't even say a word. I just ghost you nje. Ngiphuma nje kahle empilweni yakho. Ngizafledi ungabi isicefe empilweni zabantu. Sure.
Hi, Lebo. I think, like you say, these things are just getting tense, but these are things that have been happening for a long time, and without really coining it. So, in drinking terms, favor banking is when if you're getting paid on the 20th and your friend gets paid on the 25th, on the 20th you buy beer for that guy because you know that on the 25th it's 10. Same with one that's getting paid on the 30th. So favor banking or no favor banking, it's a system that works. Alex here in Edenville. Cheers, bye.
Hi, Relebogile, Molebogile, Kilebogile. Sure, the most butchered name in radio. Anyway, there's a vendor idiom that says chanda iya, chanda wuya. The hand goes out, the hand gotta come back. In other words, there's no free favors. That's the P.
Yo, and I know that Pastor P. Yo. So here's my question, right? If we know that there's no such thing as, nothing is for free, is the difference in the favor, what happened to then paying it forward? Because if you help a complete stranger that you never expect to ever see again in your life, ever, is there no system that also includes paying it forward? I have people who have helped me with things, random people, like because I didn't have coins or my note was not working. I mean, now you can use cards at the parking ticket machine. But I've had so many people pay for my parking. I've never seen them ever again. I can never thank them. Is there no such thing as a paying it forward? Or do we always operate off of the fact that if I did so and so for this person, they must do it for back to you? On our team here, Go 702, I'm looking at my team, dead straight in the eyes. Good name, if favor banking. If somebody asks you for something and you're like, ish, I'm busy, or ish, they're going to remind you, Uguti, oh, okay. Oh, you see how siblings, when you're small and you don't want to change the TV channel because you got the remote first, then your older brother says, oh, okay, yeah, you know what's going to happen. You definitely know. More of your voice notes.
So much of my late uncle, when we were very young, he would, we are eating food at my grandparents', then if he doesn't like any particular meat, let's say sebete or voro, so he would be like, motlogolo, ashi piece, and then give you a piece of meat that he doesn't like. Then when you are eating something nice like chicken or chops or steak, the other time, motlogolo, wankolota, so then he wants to give you the not so nice meat that you must take because we are so young. And when it's the nice meat, he asks for his meat back, favor banking. And then the same uncle the other time, he literally gave me 500 rand. This is 20 years ago. Just gave me money. But until the day he passed on, I was still paying for that 500 rand. Every time he asked me for 50 rand, I'm like, I don't have money. I don't like to feel 500 rand, 50 rand. I'm sure I paid over 5,000 rand of that 500 rand over the years in period.
Guys, do we not all have that uncle? Yo, we all have those people in our families that will that one time give you something like $100 and you will pay for it for the rest of your life. The other very big trait of favor banking is that the person will never let you forget that they did it for you. And if you have a falling out in your relationship or you're in an argument, they're going to remind you, oh, that day you had a job interview, ka go printela CV, ka patala 5 rand ya ko postnet. Oh, they will remind you and you will pay. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702, it's 130. Time for your latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon. What is happening with the Pretoria High Court?
Well, Relebogile, a very good afternoon. That High Court has ordered that the burial of Zambia's former President Edgar Lungu in South Africa be stopped. The Attorney General of Zambia approached the High Court in Pretoria to halt Lungu's burial through an interim interdict. The court challenge was the latest move in a feud between the government and Lungu's family over his burial. Joburg Mayor Dada Morero has described the motion of no confidence against him as a plot to destabilize his administration. Morero is facing a DA-sponsored no confidence vote today, just 10 months since his election to the top position. The DA says its decision to file the motion was prompted by its perception that Morero is incapable of saving the city from decline. And a Sangoma arrested in connection with the murder of a 2-year-old has abandoned his bail application. Sibukwane Gaunyana appeared in the Vanderbijl Park Magistrates Court alongside Ginelwe Shalaba, who is the mother of the child. The two face charges of kidnapping and premeditated murder in connection with the child's disappearance. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 2 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Linwood, Pretoria, we still have roadworks causing huge delays on the N1 southbound between Storenville and Atterbury Road. Heading into the Joburg CBD, traffic is a bit sluggish on Main Reef Road between Nasrec and the M2. There's also faulty traffic lights slowing down traffic. That's in the Rand Park Ridge area at Bayers Nodia and the N1. Also, traffic lights out of order in Alex at Far East Bank and Marlborough, as well as in Edenvale at Motorfontein Road and the N3. If you come across any other traffic issues, please SMS us on 31702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The Minister of Basic Education, Sivira Kwahube, how did these murders happen?
A lot of it is also related to gang violence in our schools. A lot of it is also related to sort of gang wars playing themselves out. And I mean, these are the kind of things that we are seeing. This protocol can't work if it's only the police and it's only DBE that are working together.
Yeah.
We have to involve parents. We have to involve the community, because ultimately discipline begins at home.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Need the right tools to run your small business? With Nedbank, you get the latest Visa, MasterCard and AMX accepting card payment device delivered to you within 48 hours. Enjoy getting your payment straight into your Nedbank account on the same day. Plus, you could get 100% back on the purchase price of the device. Apply on the Nedbank Money app today. Join the bank that's best for your small business. Nedbank, licensed financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
In 50 meters, turn left. You missed the turn.
Okay, technically.
Recalculating.
But the new Haval H7 loves a detour. It's off-road capable yet refined and even a little wild.
A little wild?
Write your own story in the new Haval H7 from 6,999 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and book a test drive. Go with more. Go with the new GWM Haval H7.
In 50 meters, make a U-turn.
Oh, shush.
Treat yourself to something special with big beauty savings at Dis-Chem. Find incredible offers on your favorite fragrances and color cosmetics. And free gifts? Yes, please. Purchase selected skincare from Bionike, Peyo, Nutriderma, and a huge range of other brands and get a little something extra. It's the perfect time to show yourself some love and save big on value. Go on, you deserve it. Hurry, offers end 13 July, only at Dis-Chem. Better health starts here.
Andile here with more than just a horse betting ad. Bet on the horses at 10Bet and ride with a 20% free bet boost on your deposit. It's more than just a race, it's a 10Bet experience. Join now at 10bet.co.za. 10Bet is a licensed betting operator and supports responsible gambling. No person under the age of 18 shall be permitted to bet. Betting can be addictive. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line is 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Dear Journal, trying to be an adult, day 3274. Every time I go to a fancy birthday dinner, I'm reminded I'm just 5 fancy birthday dinners away from financial ruin. Note to self, don't make any more born in June friends.
Recently removed from the family payroll? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's like 570 Rand a month, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
In today's fast-paced digital world, staying connected isn't just important, it's essential. That's why MTN has launched a powerful new app to drive digital transformation and help people and businesses live smarter, more connected lives. Catch 702 in conversation with MTN this Thursday on 702 Drive with John Pullman as we discuss how MTN is simplifying, securing and improving your mobile experience with its new app. Don't miss it. MTN, today we make moves on 702.
Spend your afternoon
with
25 minutes to 2 o'clock, and we continue our conversation around favor banking. If you've just joined us, favor banking is what happens where you do a favor for a person with the intention of definitely claiming it back, but it's more on the manipulative side, not so much as like you're asking for help. You are literally saying, hey, it's time to pay. It makes people possibly feel uncomfortable, and you make people feel like they owe you, and possibly what they owe you does not even match what they did for you at the beginning. And I then was asking the question to say, if in this picture of favor banking, we say there's no such thing as a free favor or nothing is for free, what happened to paying it forward? What happened to the ecosystem that sometimes you do things out of the kindness of your heart, and you hope that whatever that favor was that you did for a person gets passed on to other people. You don't actually come back to cash out your favor. 011 883 0702. The WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. On the WhatsApp line, a message says favor banking always leads to an uneven power dynamic, emotional debt, and the potential for resentment or manipulation. It can also hinder the development of genuine connection and intimacy if the focus shifts to obligations rather than shared experiences. Beautifully expressed. Unfortunately, the person didn't even sign that message, but well said. Hi, Relebogile. Favor banking, it's like a treatment. When my sister said, go clean the stoop, and you refuse, she will say, okay, we will meet during supper. If she says so, you must know she will give you the smallest piece of meat with too much fat because you refuse to clean the stoop. I'm not sure if that falls into favor banking or just, I'm not sure. I need to think about it. Hi, Relebogile. I'm experiencing favor banking from my previous domestic worker. She used to work for me for 24 years, and I released her last year, paid her what's supposed to, etc. She once sent me a copy of a letter from lawyers requesting funds so that she can put a deposit because she wants to buy an RDP house. I don't think that qualifies as favor banking. I don't think that falls in the category. But we're kind of almost getting there. Here are more of your voice notes. 072 702 1702.
Hi, Relebogile. I think I identified so much with what that guy was saying about it being a trauma response more than it being favor banking. And it happens at such a subconscious level. People pleasing, and he's got it right. I get him totally. This is V in Bryanston. Bye.
Afternoon, Relebogile. This favor banking, Rona, we've always had it. In Sizulu, bari izandla ziyagezana. Okay? You scratch my back, I scratch your back. But it's not done with the intention, Guti, one day I'm going to. No, there's an expectation already. Guti, I help you, you help me. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. Zandla ziyagezana. We've always had this notion in our black society. So it's nothing new for us.
Maybe where it becomes a challenge, right, is in the favor banking terminology. It's not so much the understanding that ratusana as Batwabanso and the Ubuntu and all of that, but that some people will maybe go too far in trying to get you to pay them back in you being owed. So a person who, let's say you find something for free by chance, you don't need it, and then you intentionally look for someone to give it to because you want them to owe you. So it's about, I think, the intention, not so much that you generally help people and then when you are in need, you're upset that people don't come through for you. No, I don't think that's the same thing. It's the one where a person intentionally goes out of their way to make sure that you owe them. So let's give an example. Let's say somebody, there's a closing date for a job application. And the closing date and time is like 5 p.m. on a Wednesday. Your email goes through or your submission lands there at 2 minutes after closing time, 2 minutes past 5. and then you call and you beg the person on the phone to say, I'm so sorry, please, can you put my application through? Then afterwards they say, okay, sharp. Now when you get called for the interview, they remind you, Hore, they sal batal. You will pay. Do you get what I mean? They're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart without expectation of anything in return. More of your voice notes.
Hi, Relebogile. Just now, just your question on the paying it forward. I think that's still a form of banking, right? Form of commerce, one way or another, because it's like a tacit social contract. So when you're thinking, I'm doing this nice thing for someone, and perhaps in the back of your head, you're thinking of someone else who did something nice for you. So because you know, Guti, I once was in a jam and a stranger helped me, it's easier for you to help the next person in a jam, meaning that whatever it is that you were given or that you received, you were under the impression that it's not actually yours to always keep. So even if it's free and it's a favor, the hand that extends and comes back, what they said in Venda. So now it's a form of a social contract.
Regarding favor banking, I don't think the example that was given about men expecting reciprocation from women when doing favors, I don't think it applies here. That's a very different context. That's a romantic setting and context, one. And secondly, we're talking about people here who always need favors, pretty much in a very parasitic way. So now I'm not saying that it's justified to want reciprocation in this case. I'm just saying it's not favor banking in this.
Hi, Relebogile. I'm just thinking about something in terms of favor banking. There's this thing that we do when there's a funeral, then in terms of Ubuntu Butu, we will go ropila, vegetables and all that stuff. But there are some families where we just won't go. Because no, that family, they were never at Smangmang's house. They were never here when we had a funeral or an event. So we're not going to go there. So then the community just doesn't go because they don't attend other community events.
Is that favor banking though? And I'm not sure if that qualifies as favor banking, where now you don't attend other people's events because they don't attend yours. Because that would then imply, if I go back to the part about intention, did you attend people's funerals so they could attend yours? So if the answer is no, cool. Maybe then you say, we're not going to attend this people because they're not an active participant of the community. I'm not sure. But in my mind, the way that I see it is like, if a person is doing things specifically with the intention to say, this person is going to pay back. I'm going to do them a favor and they will pay back. And you will remember it. Not only will you remember it, you will remind them. They're never going to say, actually, Chomiam, let me pay because we're thinking you helped me out that last time. You know what I mean? Thank you for your messages, your voice notes, and your calls.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
I guess it is a kind of one school at a time approach in a way. Do you not have a concern that when we have a big, wide-scale announcement that you and your members have complained before about reporting requirements, for example, everything is then directed towards the large plan?
It eventually depends on how each school embraces this, how each district office of the department takes it closer to the school, how the police station closer to the school ties up and links up with the school.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
It's breakfast time and you've just realized you're out of your pet's favorite food again. You know the drill. Traffic, queues, hauling bulky bags. But not anymore. Pet Shop Science is now on 60/60. Get specialized pet food and premium pet care brands delivered on the same day in precisely scheduled 60-minute time slots. No stress, no rush, just happy tails and full bowls. Pet Shop Science, the science behind happy pets. Available in selected areas only. T&Cs apply.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Quiet, please.
With 50% off on limited Tennistown tickets, no wonder Amex card members are so thrilled. Enjoy a world-class tennis experience at Monte Casino between 11 and 13 July 2025. Buy your tickets for Amex Tennistown online today at howler.co.za for the Championships Wimbledon experience with the Mzansi advantage. Tennis is better with Amex.
Hey, Paul, what's the rush?
I'm off to SARS. I want to check if I'll be auto-assessed.
No need. If you're auto-assessed, SARS will send you a notice between 7 and 20 July.
So I just wait for the notice?
Exactly. If you get the notice, check it. And if you agree, you're done. Disagree, file using e-filing or the SARS Mobi app. If you don't get the notice, file from 21 July. Make tax matters your priority. Go to sars.gov.za and say goodbye to queues. SARS, at your service.
Your voice.
Your life.
Your afternoon radio.
On 702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Mabotja.
14 minutes to 2 o'clock. We're very quickly going to chat to one of our very own executive producer of the afternoon drive show with John Perlman, Kabazela, who's going to be telling us where he is and what he is up to. But just so you all remember that the 702 Walk the Talk is taking place Sunday, the 27th of July from 9 a.m. at the Union Buildings in Pretoria. And distances available include 8 kilometers, 6.7 kilometers in honor of Madiba and 4 kilometers as well. Jonathan is on site. Jonathan, how are you doing?
Hey, Relebogile, I'm good. How are you doing, man?
I am doing so well. What are you doing?
Good.
What are you doing where you are? Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so I mean, you just mentioned it. Walk the Talk coming up on the 27th of July. And of course, when you're walking these long 8 kilometers and 6 kilometer routes, it's important to stay hydrated, right? So we were invited out to Aquile, the farm, basically where they produce the water, to come have a look. And why? Is because, I don't know about you, I mean, my brain works very, very, very strangely sometimes. But, I mean, you go, you pick out a bottle of still sparkling or flavored bottled water from the local shop. And I often think to myself, okay, well, it says natural spring water. So what does that mean? Where does it come from? Does it flow from I've got these pictures in my head. Does it flow from a mountain through these little crevices and cracks and all the way down into a big river or a dam where then, they bottle the water? So I wanted to see for myself and see what it was all about and how it comes about. So we're here at Kranskorp in KZN, and I mean, I must say, I'm looking out into the valleys here. It's hills, it's greenery, there's mountain ranges, there's greenhouses, there's a bottling plant. It's a really, really amazing part of KZN, I must say. But so basically this water that we drink on what will be at the Walk the Talk, it runs underground and it gets filtered, right? And then they put a borehole into this water. They capped it, and then they pump it to the plant where they then bottle it, and it's basically from source right into the bottles. It's really amazing. I mean, they have a filter just because maybe 1 or 2 little particles may get in, but they change this filter every 12 months, if you can imagine. So, I mean, it just shows you how clean this water is. So I've really found that very, very amazing. And on top of the source where they pump the water from, there's some zebra that are walking around and various other game living their best life and grazing on beautiful green grass. So it was a fascinating morning just to kind of see what, the source of bottled water, Aquile, to where it comes from, and then gets to your local garage shops, your supermarkets, etc., etc. So I found that very, very fascinating.
Listen, I expect, Jonathan Fairbairn, that you must be returning extremely hydrated, and I expect a lifetime supply of water from you. We're speaking earlier about favour banking. So this is me I'm claiming back all the favours, Kabazela, from before. Bring me water.
I know some people here. So I'm sure we can make a plan. What's your favorite flavor? I mean, there's the marula, there's watermelon.
Ooh, so I'll be honest.
Apple.
I don't like flavored water. Like I think I've tasted 1 or 2 of the Aquile flavored, like the watermelon. I think the strawberry one is also quite nice. But generally, nice. I like it straight, man, on the rocks. on the
So,
rocks
you know what?
or neat.
You know what? You know what the most popular flavored water that they sell is?
Tell me. Marula. Oh, lychee. I see. Yeah. I can so
South
believe
Africans
it.
love lychee. We love
Oh my goodness. Kabazela, I'll be waiting for you at the front of our parking lot for all of my water. PrimeMediaPlus.com. Do not forget to enter the 702 Walk the Talk. There'll be distances that accommodate absolutely everybody. It'll be a magnificent day. 9 o'clock on the 27th of July. It's a Sunday at the Union Buildings.
702. Finance feature.
9 minutes to 2 o'clock in our finance feature for today. We are talking around money lessons that you wish you had learned sooner. My goodness, right? They say youth is wasted on the young, and this is where we get to talk about it. We're joined by Melody Kluti, training specialist at Bidvest Life. Melody, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi there. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, this is a tough one because all of us have lessons, I'm sure, that we wish we had learned sooner. But not just that, the way that things have changed with the value of money over the years kind of makes it difficult.
Absolutely. I think we are all just struggling with debt. We are all struggling with the cost of living. So planning our finances is getting harder and harder and harder. But there are some basic things that if you follow those basic rules and make sure that you've got a good sound financial plan in place, that could help you to overcome those struggles.
Okay, so what are some of the ones, I mean, especially it being Youth Month, there are some young people that are not just joining us in studio and on air, but are also listening and their parents are listening. Let's kickstart with some of those things, some of those lessons. What's the first tip?
So I think the first thing to think about is debt. The word debt often carries a very negative connotation, and of course it does, because we are so overburdened by debt. But it's important to know that not all debt is bad. So before you go out and borrow any money and get yourself credit cards and all that sort of thing, it's really important that you first understand the difference between good and bad debt. Now, as a rule of thumb, good debt is generally debt that is a sensible investment in your financial future. So you're talking about the youth listening and it's Youth Month. Getting something like a student loan, that's good debt because you are investing in your future. You are getting educated and hopefully that's going to lead you into the job market to start earning a salary. But having to pay off unnecessary high interest credit card debt, that can definitely hinder your financial progress. And how you manage that debt and all your other financial commitments like your phone contract or your gym contract, all of those things together are really important. It's important to make sure that you are paying those payments on time and in full every month. And in turn, this is going to help you to build a healthy credit score. And it's that credit score that you need when you go to a financial institution and you want to apply for something like a home loan or vehicle finance. Those are also two examples of good debt. In order to get that good debt, you have to have a good credit history. So super important to stay on top of your debt, make sure that your bills are paid on time and in full so that you can get that good credit score that you need.
And I think that's such a big one because once you know that from the onset, you can already start creating a positive relationship with the debt in your life. And then when it comes to sales and things like that, I mean, many people are susceptible to impulse buying. I'm one of them. I'm one of them, but I will never do it from money I don't actually have.
Yeah. I think that's such a great point that you make. You know, sometimes we do want to spoil ourselves, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But use money you have. Don't don't use money you don't have, and that would be something like a credit card. The interest rates that you have to pay back on a credit card are insane. They are so high. And if you're going to put everything on your credit card and you're going to not be disciplined in terms of impulse buying, you're going to get into a bit of a debt snowball. So really important, I think, also just to sit down and make sure that you've got a budget. Know exactly how much money is coming in. A lot of people today are gig workers and freelancers, and so they might have 2, 3, 4, 5 different sources of income. So make sure you know exactly where that income is coming from and how much you have, and then know exactly how much is going out. So, I always recommend to people, write down for 1 month, get yourself a little notepad and write down every single cent that you've spent, even if it's, the coins that you give to the car guard. Write it down so that at the end of the month you have a very clear picture of where your money went, and then you can start identifying what are needs and what are wants. The needs are the things we absolutely have to pay for: a roof over our head, transport, food, education. The wants are the impulse buys and the sales and the coffee on the way to work and that sort of thing. So if you can be really dedicated to that and work on that budget, you should be okay. You getting yourself on the right path for your financial future.
And the last tip for us.
Most important thing, make sure that you are protecting your income. Having an asset like a home or a car is obviously valuable, but the reality is that you likely won't be able to pay for them if you are unable to earn an income. So just like you would insure your valuable belongings, you should also be insuring your income. So that's where income protection comes in. It's essentially insurance for your income. It'll cover you for 100% of your insured income amount, and that'll pay out monthly if you're unable to work specifically due to an injury or an illness, which will ensure that you can still meet your financial obligations during that period that you're off from work. It should be every hardworking South African's top financial priority, is to protect that income.
Melody Clutie, thank you so much for your time on 702 Afternoons.
This week on Polytricking with Sidi Madia.
I'm joined in studio by Asha Surapin. Does the DA then concede? Because here's the other interesting thing about the budget for me. Fuel levy was a massive issue in the years for the DA. A 0-rated goods basket.
Mm-hmm.
They're gone.
For this year, yes.
Yeah, do you then sit there and go, oh, the things that we wanted had to be sacrificed? This is the painful bits of moving the needle, is that it?
It is painful, but the thing about coalition governments is that you can't get everything you want all of the time. For every 2 things the ANC gets, the DA must get 1 thing. That's what the voters wanted, and that's what they gave us, and that's how it must work in government.
Listen to the full episode on primemediaplus.com. Polytricking with Sidi Madia on EWN. In touch, in tune, and independent.
It's that time of the year, and this winter's gearing up to be colder than ever. Don't stress. Takealot is getting you all cozied up with savings of up to 45% off winter home essentials. From the kitchen to your bedroom and all around home improvements, you can get it all online and delivered for free on the same day with Takealot More. Download the Takealot app to get everything you need this winter.
Why settle for average when you can upgrade awesome intelligence with the new Galaxy A26? Want to find a song? Simply hum or sing the melody and allow the AI circle to search to do the rest. Take your mobile photography to the next level with the AI triple camera, boasting a 50-megapixel autofocus to capture high-quality moments. Plus, you get storage expandability of up to 2 terabytes. Galaxy A26. Awesome intelligence is here.
Psst. Hey, no longer feeling like the man you used to be?
The man who has inside jokes with complete strangers.
The fact is, 95% of men with low testosterone go untreated.
Vitamin High Performance Supplements for men helps recharge energy, regain lean muscle, and reload performance. Available at all good pharmacies and Vitalamin.co.za.
Vitalamin. Don't get older. Get better.
Every day I'm hustling. It's our reality as business owners.
And it's good to know that there's someone out there who takes care of the business that makes the business. Gotta love My Way Business Insurance. Saving big on premiums with 24/7 emergency services, plus My Business Assist with marketing, legal, and labor advice services.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The Pretoria High Court has ordered that the burial of Zambia's former president Edgar Lungu in South Africa be stopped. The Attorney General of Zambia approached the court to halt Lungu's burial through an interim interdict. The court challenge was the latest move in a feud between the government and Lungu's family. The family wants a private ceremony in South Africa rather than a full state funeral at home, where Lungu has been embroiled in a long-standing feud with his successor, President Hakainde Hichilema. The ruling today comes as some family members gather at the Cathedral of Christ the King in Hillbrow, Johannesburg, where the funeral was set to take place. Lungu died earlier this month at a medical centre in Pretoria, where he had been receiving specialised treatment. To this now, Joburg Mayor Dada Morero has described the motion of no confidence against him as a plot to destabilise his administration. Morero is currently facing a DA-sponsored no confidence vote just 10 months since his election to the top position. The DA says its decision to file the motion was prompted by its perception that Morero is incapable of saving the city. Addressing council this afternoon, Morero says the latest attempt to axe him is malicious.
We should have no fear. Like I said, we are here today because of a democratic process, not because this motion of no confidence that aimed to destabilize the city of Johannesburg.
DA regional leader Belinda Kaiser Ichiozonjoku says something has to be done about the Metro's leadership.
We all know that the city has collapsed under this current coalition that is led by the executive mayor. He has become a mayor that is rogue. We've now seen a bomb squad that he has also appointed without council approval, without consulting any of the political parties.
A Sangoma arrested in connection with the murder of a 2-year-old has abandoned his bail application today. Sebukwane Gaunyana appeared in the Vanderbijl Park Magistrates Court alongside Kinelwe Shalaba, who is the mother of the child. The two face charges of kidnapping and premeditated murder in connection with the child's disappearance. Jabuli Limbata reports.
The public gallery in court was packed with community members calling for justice for the murder of 2-year-old Kutlwano Shalaba. Some in attendance have told EWN they know Kutlwano's mother, Kinelwe Shalaba, personally and were very concerned when in November last year she reported the child had been kidnapped. Days later, she was arrested in connection with his disappearance. She was also questioned about receiving 75,000 rand on the day her child vanished. Further investigation by police in May this year linked her to Sangoma Sebukwane Gaunyana. He pointed out where Kutlwano was buried in Beggersdal and was arrested. Gaunyana informed the court today that he will not be applying for bail. Magistrate Michael Tlali reminded him that he is able to apply for bail at a later stage.
So whenever accused number 2 wishes to bring a bail application at any time, he must arrange with the state so that this matter is transferred to the court.
The two suspects will remain in custody until their next court appearance in August. Jabuli Limbata, Eyewitness News, Vanderbijl Park Magistrates Court.
We shift our focus to the Western Cape now, where 12 new parliamentarians will be in the National Assembly this afternoon after being sworn in by the Speaker today. 9 of those MPs will be filling vacant seats of the Umkhonto weSizwe Party, while another 3 from the Patriotic Alliance will be replacing members who have been redeployed. Speaker Togo Didiza has appealed to the new MPs to always respect the decorum of the House and to remember that they ultimately serve the people of South Africa. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
Among the new 9 MK Party MPs, only Kanyisile Litchfield Shabalala has served as an MP before, representing the EFF between 2014 and 2015. Despite earlier announcements by the party, its former Secretary-General Floyd Shivambu has not made a return to Parliament. The The MK party last welcomed new MPs to the fold in August last year, after axing more than a dozen members following a fallout over membership and the list process. Speaker Toka Didiza has appealed to the new MPs to exercise their duties with diligence.
Because we do come from different parties, we will differ about sometimes how we see things on the issues that is being debated, but what is important is to do that in a manner that still respects one another.
The official opposition will now have all of its 58 seats filled for the first time since the swearing in of new members following the elections. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And the UK is set to buy 12 fighter jets capable of carrying tactical nuclear weapons. According to reports, this is an effort to strengthen its nuclear capabilities. Prime Minister Keir Starmer is expected to make the announcement about the purchase today at The Hague, where NATO allies are meeting. The government says the programme will support 20,000 jobs and more than 100 companies across the UK in the supply chain. Gold is trading at $3,328.48 an ounce. The rand is at 17.74 to the dollar, 24.12 to the pound, 20.53 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $68.06 a barrel.
In Melrose, heading towards Sandton, there's that accident seen on the M1 North near Colet, causing about a 20-minute delay all the way from Killarney Bends, Linwood, Pretoria. Roadwork still causing about a 2-hour delay on the N1 southbound between Storenville and Atterbury Road. And there's those faulty traffic lights in Rand Park Ridge at Beyersnodia and the N1.
It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 20 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN, the Pretoria High Court has ordered that the burial of Zambia's former president Edgar Lungu in South Africa not go ahead.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. 702.
We're listening to you. You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Eight minutes after 2 o'clock, the second and final hour of 702 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, and we are getting into a masterclass, and I'm so exceptionally excited for this masterclass. I can already anticipate that we're not going to get through everybody's questions, and we're not going to get through all of the details, but let's see how it goes. We'll be hearing from you on today's masterclass on producing a television series that is based on historical events specifically, and all that it takes. We've got a phenomenal group in studio. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702, SMS us 31702, and tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702, using the hashtag 702 Afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702.
Masterclass.
Masterclass time on 702 Afternoons, and today's masterclass, we're talking about producing a television series based on historical events, and I'm so excited to have the team of the phenomenal award-winning Shaka iLembe in the building. We've got two executive producers, Mabotja as well as Desiree Maghraf, and then we also have Jacob Ntshangase, who's a writer and researcher for the show. Welcome.
Good to be here. Hi.
This is so funsies. It's like I have my former boss here from my Zone 14 days in the form of Desiree Maghraf, which is so exciting. My girl, Mabotja, and also Ntate Jacob. When everybody's relying on you, huh? We know that the titles of exec producer are high up, but actually everybody's relying on you. So I want to start with you, Jacob. When you started the process of, you have your Anguses and your Desirees that say, we want to do this thing. But at some point, we know, especially this is not just historical events as in real life events. They are events that have very significant cultural nuances. So it's not like we are doing the story of Marie Antoinette, where you have a lot of leeway when it comes to creatively what you want to do with the outfits, or a period piece. This is history. It is truly South African and has an impact on the whole continent. But over and above that, it has those cultural nuances where we do have a royal family that is very much here and has a way of how things need to be done. So from a researcher perspective, what is the first step in you beginning to get into the world of Ushaka?
Look, the first step, obviously, having had the concept from Desiree Angas, where it's aimed at, the first thing is to look at the different stakeholders who are out there. The royal house, as you said, and also other people who have stake, like for instance, the Mhlongos, the Mtetwas, the Ngumalos, all these different people, the historians, in terms of academics, and also the commentators and all those people, then to bring them together, consult with them, listen to them, hear them. Once we hear their views, we are then in a position to put those views together and then start crafting the story.
So, Desiree, let me come to you. I mean, when you decide that you want to take on such a masterpiece of a story, you could start anywhere. And we know when it comes to television and creativity, you literally can create an entire series of just 24 hours if you wanted to. How did you start by picking which period you want to actually focus on and look at?
Oh, I love that question so much.
Because it could have been literally a one-day event, as you saw with Adolescent, for example.
I mean, I think the thing with this story was that it's such a huge story and it's such a big history. And the starting point really for us was, and I just want to back up a little bit and say, and I've told the story before, but it actually started with a group of women. We were sitting chatting about what our children are watching on TV.
Yes.
And, we were sort of lamenting that our kids are watching Ben 10 and Hannah Montana and, it's all American content. And we don't have any local heroes. We're not telling our own stories. So when we made the decision that we really wanted to try and pivot and focus on history, of course, who is one of the greatest legends in Africa? It has to be Shaka. But deciding where to start, I think for us was, in order to understand Shaka, we have to understand what was happening around him at the time. We need to go before Shaka. Who were the men and women who influenced him? What was happening politically on the continent? I mean, we're here in Africa, the cradle of mankind, but our history has sort of been just truncated into colonial history. There was hundreds and thousands of years of history before that. So, of course, we are only backing up, 20, 30 years before the colonialists arrive. But so that was the starting point for us. We wanted to start before the colonialists arrived. We wanted to start before Shaka was born so that we can create context of the world that he's born into and then introduce him.
So here's then the question. Were you already familiar with the story? I mean, I've known Mbuso Khoza, for example, for a while. We've had him on the show to give a masterclass on the Battle of Isangana, for example. So I've always known that there are people who have such a wealth of knowledge. Did you already have some knowledge, or were you starting from a blank canvas of, we know he's an icon and we're starting from scratch?
A little bit of both, to be honest. Of course, we've all got knowledge of Shaka. We've learned a little bit about him at school. One's read about him. We all saw the series in the 80s. But I think for us, what the big thing was to wipe any information we had and to start from scratch. And like Jacob said, is to really listen. So, we did huge amounts of desktop research, huge amounts of research with historians. I mean, there's volumes of material, fantastic things like the Stewart Archives, where hundreds of people were interviewed shortly after Shaka's death in the 1860s, maybe 30 years afterwards, that had memory of that time. So, we just poured through stuff and kind of let it let it just fall on us. And eventually the stories, and first of all, there were so many stories, which ones do you tell? And then there's so many versions of a story.
And characters.
And so many characters. Who do
Yeah.
you choose? And then how do you truncate that into 12 hours of television? You know, obviously you've got to make choices about things that you think are important, or sometimes you truncate times. You go, okay, maybe there was 5-6 years between one event and another, but in order to get through this massive history, you've got to conflate them a little bit. So you're making choices all the time, but I think the key thing is if you're telling a historical story, open yourself to listen to multiple perspectives, and then the story starts to surface itself.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we continue with the executive producers and writer-researcher of Shaka, iLembe, as we do this masterclass on producing a television series based on historical events. And of course, we want your questions, your calls, 011 883 0702, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 delivers
On the matters that matter to you.
I am Alula Madlamini, an avid Talk Radio 702 listener. Have been listening since way back when it was medium wave all the way till now. Talk Radio 702 it forms part of the network of what my life is made up of, you know, from God to my family to my joy. 702 is my magazine of life. The depth and width of knowledge, from fun to spiritual knowledge and fulfillment. So I find everything on 702, so much that it is the only radio station that I listen to from Monday to Sunday. I am totally sold out on Talk Radio 702.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
so we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
Western Australia will take your breath away long before the family hugs begin. With South African Airways flying direct to Perth 5 times a week, your next trip is more than just a visit, it's an experience. Think golden coastlines, unforgettable sunsets, incredible food, and the wild beauty of the outback. And yes, your loved ones will be there too, waiting to show you their new world. Book now at flysaa.com or contact your nearest travel agent. Discover Western Australia, reconnect with the people you miss most, and the magical moments only Perth can bring.
Ready to make the most out of your moves? Like that getting things done on the go move. Try this new MTN app. That overseas trip made it out of the group chat move. This new MTN app. That you hang up. No, you hang up move. This new MTN app. Today we make that move, and that move. This app. Today we make moves with this new MTN app. Download it now. T's and C's apply. MTN, SA's best network.
Hello, welcome to the Crazy Store.
Hello, hi. I would like a refund for the stress ball.
Of course.
I have been squeezing it for 6 days and I'm still totally stressed out.
I see.
These safety pins, they don't work. I pin them to my pants, but they don't make me feel safe. Can I exchange them for this pepper spray?
No problem. The Crazy Store. Our quality promise means we'll replace or refund any of our products that you are not happy with.
Kickstart your small business with a starter bundle from Nedbank. Enjoy free transactions for 6 months, including free cash deposits and withdrawals and a free debit card with easy digital access and a dedicated banker to guide you along every step of the way. Open a Nedbank starter bundle with SA's best bank for SMEs. Apply on the Money app today. Nedbank. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Our massive annual sale is finally here. Get to iLembe today for up to 33% off a selection of our best brands, like the 40 Winks Extra Firm Active Zone Queen Set, reduced to only 11,999. Shop in-store or online right now. Plus, get fast delivery on our best sellers. iLembe. Sleep for life.
702 and the Discam Foundation are shining the spotlight on the health matters you want to know more about. Here's what we explored this month.
Well, every time they swipe their benefit cards, they certainly are assisting with all the work that we do. We've just put together a beautiful partnership with Hisense, and they've gifted us a whole lot of washing machines.
Oh, fabulous.
And we'd like to give 2 of those to your 2 facilities in Cape Town. And
Wow.
on top of that, we'd like to give health and hygiene products.
That will come in handy because the youth are staying with us. We've got laundry and so on. So I these love machines, the laundry leads are spectacular.
In Conversation on Afternoon Drive with John Perlman. Brought to you by the Discam Foundation, caring for the community on 702.
702.
Masterclass.
20 minutes after 2 o'clock, we continue with our masterclass today on producing a television series based on historical events. I'm not going to lie, I was very biased with this masterclass because after working with the Shaka iLembe team for the launch of season 2, I said, you know what? We need to know because I am surrounded by people with a wealth of knowledge, and not just from the part of producing a TV series, but also for us remembering our stories. And I think that's so important. The late, great Brahima Sekela once said to me, back in the day before we had cell phones like we do now, he said to me, the best thing you can do is get a bunch of dictaphones and send them into the rural areas and have old people tell stories, because that is what we're losing. So today really is also to give us tips on how to research and find out about who we are and where we come from. In studio, we're joined by 2 executive producers, Nomzamo Mabotja and Desiree Maghraf, as well as writer and researcher Jacob Ntangase. And we take your calls on 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Now, we've touched on already, where does one start? The consultation process, and of course, the part of making the difficult decisions. Nomzamo, for you as you're not just executive producer, you also are on screen. What are some of the difficult choices that had to be made where, I've found myself in places where I'm also talent and EP, and I have to step back and say, you guys decide because I'm going to be biased. Is there maybe a story that you wanted to go a certain way because of the character you're playing? Or you always, how did you balance that? Because I'm not going to lie, it's not easy. Sometimes I do have to say, sorry, I can't watch this edit. You guys decide, I trust you.
I'm always lamenting. That's why Desiree's laughing. So funny, before season 2 came out, the first episode, the night before, I said to Angus, I hope I look good in the episode. That's what you said. I better. How many scenes do I have, Desiree?
Because it's hard. There's still the talent who's like, that's still my face. Yeah. And in the case of this historical piece, it was your Bowery.
It was
your Bowery.
No, to be honest, I think, a funny story was when we were shooting season 1 and I was still in my young Zulu maiden age.
Yes.
So I was still 16-year-old Nandi, 17-year-old. And we had this dance scene and I was very, very nervous about it because, first of all, khona intombi zakwaZulu who are going to watch
and
say,
judge.
Is that leg going high? This Princess Nandi, So you're not just a character, in the world. You're also representing somebody who means so much, who's so significant to the history of Zulu maidens and the history of our culture and identity and heritage and customs. So I was very nervous about that, but we had a movement coach in Tlantla and who was assisting, and I was really in the rehearsals. And then when we shot it, we were chasing the light, and Zena was like, "Well, we've got the shot." I said, Can I watch playback
just in case?"
So I had to stop myself after I said that because I was like, Don't abuse your power.
Yes.
But it came out and everybody loved it. I still would have loved a reshoot to this day.
I love
the leg went high. The leg went high, I guess.
I love that you say that because my team, what they've just decided is they come to me and say, we have decided we are doing this. And then I have to be like, okay, I'm outvoted. Yeah. But the additional layer of you understanding, as I already asked, the importance of the cultural relevance, also when we know it's not so long ago that our current king, uMisuzulu, was being crowned, that it was still also fresh in South Africans' minds. It's the first time that I think young people were as interested for other probably wretched reasons at the time. But now everybody's talking, everybody's looking. What for you was the biggest concern or maybe something you wanted to be aware of when you walked into the project, understanding also that you are not just the executive producer, you're also the Zulu executive producer. If anything is not right, they're not going to say, we're not Desiree. They're not going to say, we're not Angus. They're going to say, Nomzamo.
Yes. I think the accuracies, inaccuracies, how much malleability we had in terms of that creative process and allowing creative freedom. You know, sometimes historians don't like that word when they're like, God, you guys, what is this creative freedom you speak of? So I think for me, it was really just, understanding how robust we're going to go when it comes to the accuracies of the customs, the accuracies of the times. It's a period piece, it's the 1800s. What are the things that we're going to pay homage to, part of the conversations were also like, oh my goodness, should we try and find some of the cast from the 1986 Shaka, just like a nice little cameo, right? Like, what are the things that we pay homage to? What are the things that we also look forward to and understand that we're telling a pre-colonial story? We're telling the story of a civilized society, because at the end of the day, when you think about a lot of what's out there now, there's this idea and notion that it wasn't a civilized society, that it needed colonization to become a sophisticated society. And I think for us to be able to portray that and ask the permission to the people that we are portraying on screen, to the people whose story we get to tell, what are the things that we need to lean into as performers. But on the EP side, it's really just understanding that, your face is going to be one of the leaders of this project. So what is the kind of legacy that you want to leave behind? We understood also that we weren't telling a documentary. If you want to tell a documentary, tell a documentary. What we're telling is the beauty of the story, the beauty of this history, umlando when we speak about it, right? And it's been beautiful to see and hear the conversations around people when they say, I'm learning so much. And I'm thinking, wow, okay. So outside of being entertained, people are really leaning into Shaka to be informed. This past episode, we introduced Mabotja, and, Desiree knows I was calling and I was like, oh my God, because when we were shooting it, we realized that, oh my goodness, we had a Xhosa actor who was speaking Xhosa. And if we went out on that, Mabotja were going to come and say, it's Mabotja,
Yes.
So it's really just about respecting who we are introducing in the world, because it means so much to us. The thing about South Africans is that, or African people, we are incredibly proud of where we come from, and we are unapologetic in owning that story and understanding that we are the custodians now to keep it alive.
So do we have a general consensus that you guys were supposed to fly to New Orleans for the Zulu
100%,
parade?
100%.
Because
100%.
yay!
We needed to be there.
Jacob, have you ever had moments where, you speak so beautifully just about describing the part of the creative freedom, right? Now, obviously, historians are like scientists. They want facts that equate. But at the end of the day, in a genre, which is entertainment, we are looking for escapism. So in some ways, you might be like, the way that fight happened was boring. So let's add an extra. Did you ever find yourself butting heads with the team in terms of how far the creativity is being allowed?
No, not really. I think for me, the advantage is that I'm actually from both worlds. I'm from the world of history research and also from the world of arts and entertainment film. So it was easy for me to understand that. I would watch and see even the dance, the Zulu dance, the wars and all those kind of things. But the good thing was that we trusted each other. All the different people were given different responsibilities. You will trust them that they will do the right thing. So it was very, very important. So there was never a time where one would have to butt heads with anyone, because you trust where the person is placed. And also you know that at the end of the day, we are all doing this for the good of the story. And I think what Nomzamo said is very, very important. The creative freedom was very important, but we have to do it within the context of what is acceptable, not in terms of history and not.
And I think what's also just so imperative, because I mean, from what I could see and from what you were also saying, Nomzamo, is how are you positioning our people? Because when it comes to the part of colonization, in as much as it's a Zulu nation story. It is still an African story.
100%.
And how the world looks at us is so critical. So you're trying to tick the box of, are we making sure that the Zulu nation are satisfied that this is as accurate as possible and respectful? Then it is, are South Africans proud? Then it's to say, world, you better recognize. 100%. So there are certain things that you probably dress up and add that pizzazz to it. But what we need to do is we need to go to the news. When we come back, we continue with our masterclass with your questions on 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. And maybe let me know, if you were to create a film or a TV series of a historical event or figure that is proudly South African, who would it be? It's 2:30. It's 2:30, time for your latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon. What is happening with the Pretoria High Court?
Thanks, Relebogile. Very good afternoon. Well, that High Court has ordered that the burial of Zambia's former president Edgar Lungu in South Africa be stopped. The Attorney General of Zambia approached the court to halt Lungu's burial through an interim interdict. The court challenge was the latest move in a feud between the government and Lungu's family over his burial. That ruling today comes as some family members gather at the Cathedral of Christ the King in Hillbrow, Johannesburg, where the funeral was set to take place. A debate is underway in the Johannesburg Council this afternoon to determine the fate of Joburg Mayor Dada Morero. Morero is facing a DA-sponsored no-confidence vote today, just 10 months since his election to that position. He has described the motion of no confidence against him as a plot to destabilize his administration. And the Independent Power Producer Office says there was no conflict of interest when a company chaired by former Eskom COO Jan Oberholzer was awarded a multi-billion rand energy tender. The IPP office, which handles contracts on behalf of Eskom, has told Parliament today that the process to award 4 out of 5 battery storage contracts to Mulilo Energy was above board. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 3, or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Linwood, we still have those roadworks causing about a 20-minute delay on the N1 southbound between Storenville and Atterbury Road. While in Melrose, there's that accident scene heading towards Sandton on the M1 northbound near Kohler Drive, causing huge delays all the way from Killarney Bends. If you're heading into the Joburg CBD, there's slow-moving traffic. That's on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Church Street. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Rand Park Ridge, Bears Nodia, and the N1 traffic lights still not working in Alex at Marlborough and Far East Bank. If you come across any other traffic issues, please SMS us on 31702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Hi, I'm Lewis Hamilton. Victory demands everything, but the journey is never solo. My team carves the way, data and innovation are my compass. This is how today's champions are made.
Drive your success and trade like a champion. CFI, a global leading broker now in South Africa. Access over 15,000 instruments, advanced trading tools, 24/7 support, and superior trading services. Visit cfi.trade today. CFI Financial is an authorized financial services provider.
CFI, empower yourself.
Feel the thunder. South Africa, the countdown is on. Saturday, 5th July, the Thunder of Who's returns to Hollywood Bets Greyville Racecourse for the 129th running of the Hollywood Bets Durban July. Feel the pulse pounding horse racing action as the continent's top thoroughbreds race for glory. A vibrant celebration of culture, champions, and the pursuit of greatness. Who will take the title? Tickets are galloping away. Grab yours now at Ticket Pro. The Hollywood Bets Durban July, Africa's greatest horse racing and social event.
Welcome to the Chamberlain Hotline. Press 1 for heaters, 2 for expert DIY advice, 3 for deals hotter than your geyser. Or press 4 for all the above when you visit your nearest Chamberlain for our famous for warming your homes promotion. Get everything you need to make winter warmer from the 19th of June to the 6th of July, plus 10% off chamber value paint mixing and a free hot chocolate while you wait. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
Checkers XXL Savings is on with the XXL Jackpot competition. The more SA swipes, the bigger the prize. Plus, save on Clover Butro Full Cream Butter Spread 500 grams, 2 for 149 Rand. And Baby Soft 2-ply toilet rolls 18-pack, any 2 for 249 Rand. Remember, simply buy any 3 participating products, swipe your extra savings card and get a scratch card to enter the competition. Deals valid until Sunday at Checkers.
Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is looking for a small business owner that talks a big game and delivers even bigger results. So, if you're a small business that consistently dares to innovate, expand, and better your bottom line, you could walk away with 200,000 Rand cash and a 200,000 Rand advertising package. So, enter on igniteyourbusiness.co.za. Then every day this week from 6 a.m., catch 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa to find out if you're a finalist in Nedbank Business Ignite on 702. T's and C's apply. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Coming up
on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drive is coming up from 3 to 6 p.m. with John Perlman. John, how are you doing?
Doing well, thanks. How are you doing? Good afternoon to all the listeners.
I'm doing well. It's a full house today.
Eh?
Hey?
I know, I'm in a corner.
You're literally in a corner.
I feel like I should send you a fax, except they don't make faxes anymore.
Earlier on, we were asking everybody about favour banking.
Yes.
Are you a favour banker?
So I listened to that quite carefully. I think that this idea that you do something for people with no expectation of any reciprocity doesn't work for me, because I'm not interested in those relationships. So I don't expect anything as a multiple of what I've given, and I don't expect it anytime soon. And I certainly reject the idea of exacting a price beyond what you actually put in. But I don't like the idea of saying, well, I'm starting this relationship, but I expect nothing from it, because why would you have a relationship in which you expect nothing?
I hear you. I hear you. Okay.
So, no, I'm not. Could have kept it short.
I'm putting you on the spot. If you could do a film or a TV series on a South African historical event or person, who or what would it be? Go.
I would make a movie about the time that the AWB invaded Bophuthatswana.
Ooh.
And there was a member of the Bophuthatswana Defence Force who shot 3 of the AWB people and killed them. They had been there and were shooting. And some things have been written and said about that person, but as an unknown person, he actually, I'm reluctant to say changed the course of history, but in the small ways that individual actions do change the course of history, I would make a movie about that.
Jacob is already making notes as a researcher. He's like, there,
No, it's
beautiful.
And I happen to be there, so it's imprinted in my mind.
We shall talk. What's coming up on your show today?
Sure. I think I'll just go home and have a little lie down. All these questions. So, Relebogile, there's a lot going on. Today is the 50th anniversary of Mozambique's independence. What's the state of our neighbors? Much has happened between 1975, the 25th of June, and now. We'll talk about that at 10 to 4. In terms of history moving at much greater speed, Johannesburg could have a new mayor by the end of this week.
I told you I should apply for that job. I'll do my 2-week stint and bounce. Everybody seems to be getting a turn.
Yeah. Your name's on a list. I don't know where. But we'll talk about that. I'm not sure when in the show, because the voting is a little bit imprecise as to when it'll be concluded. Safety in schools, new policies put out yesterday, but a very important story in Ground Up saying that the actual vetting of potential sex offenders as teachers or administrative staff has collapsed. We're going to find out why that system has collapsed and look at the implications of that. So we'll do that at 3:25. And then we'll ask this question for the end of the show. If you've quarreled with someone, is there a song that you use to restore peace? And what is that song? We might make a playlist.
I will definitely be tuning in for that one because I'm always right. They should be figuring out the song as far as I'm concerned. 702 Drive with John Bowman coming through from, actually the song is called You Did Me Wrong. Come apologize.
There's a song called Who's Fooling Who that you might get back.
702 Drive with John Bowman coming through from 3 to 6 p.m.
702.
Masterclass.
Masterclass, as we continue to talk about producing a television series based on historical events. Nomza Mabotja, Desiree Maghraf, the two executive producers of Shaka, iLembe, joining us in studios, as well as Jacob Njangase, writer and researcher. 011-883-0702 and the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Desiree, having seen you in action, I think you could be a great mayor candidate for the city. You would fill
agree.
every pothole. I think you are that person.
I need all of Shaka's Mabotja.
for all of that. Desiree, just in terms of now you've gotten to the process of deciding which are the pieces that you want to use in terms of the timelines, the characters, the particular stories. At what point did you say to the team, here, wardrobe, I want you to go wild? Or hey, I want you to be extravagant, because we still are trying to put forward that, as Nomzamo rightly said, we were a civilized people long before. We were preserving food without fridges. We were doing so many things already on our own. So when did you start to say, okay, I want you guys to go crazy before you start the whittling down?
Yeah, I think that this is a project that has been built by many people. It's such a huge project. And so we brought, wonderful Shelley on board very early, who's our wardrobe designer and stylist, and our production design team headed up by Dylan, and even our makeup and hair team headed up by Queen. Award-winning. And right from the beginning, they were along with us on the research, gathering research, having a look. And we were inspired mostly by all the beautiful things that you find that, if you look at those old historical drawings, a lot of them are colonial drawings. And we're grateful that they kept some of those. There were no photographs around at the time. But there were so many beautiful objects. And that really started to inspire us as a conversation. And then each of these teams went out there and started doing research and bringing back just beautiful references. And I think the thing that guided us in every part, whether it was research, writing, wardrobe design, hair, makeup, was we wanted to create a world that was beautiful. We wanted to showcase. We wanted people to be proud. We wanted to, always to put on the forefront the dignity of a people and a time. And of course, we're making television. I mean, you watch Game of Thrones, or you watch any period piece like Vikings.
Yeah.
I mean, they look gorgeous. We're not going to have our characters not looking gorgeous. I mean, Queen Nandi has to give. Right.
Yes.
So of course, you take a little bit of creative license, but always we would stop and say, are we being respectful? Is this choice here a respectful choice to make around the culture or the wardrobe or even the way things were done? Maybe we'll do it a little bit bigger. Maybe we'll do it with a little bit more drama. But are we being respectful in the process? And so that's what led us. And I think, just the design and wardrobe team blew us away.
I think they've inspired just so many fashion choices happening at the moment. And I'm not sure who I'm going to direct this next question to. Might be Nomzamo, might be Des, might be Jacob. But how do you then decide, after you've built these character Bibles, which are just based on factual things like born in X period, lost parents, separated, blah, 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 where now you start to add the characters' nuances? For example, it might not have been documented that somebody had a dark sense of humor, but now you are creating a character that has a dark sense of humor. Unlike a Hitler, for example, there is so much documented. He even has his own book where you're able to pick up certain parts of their personality. At what point do you say, okay, guys, we know that this person has been portrayed as X, Y, and Z. They'll say he's violent, they'll say he's this, but let's also show a soft side of him. And I'm just curious about the building of now the characters and the layers of their personalities.
I'd probably say there's two elements that we have to think about when we look at the show. There's characters and then there's the historical figures. The historical figures are with those who actually lived. So Unyambose was there, Uzwide, Ukona, Shaka, Nandi, Mkabai. And those historical figures have what we call ihasho zabo. Ihasho is basically what the praise singer or what Inyosi at the time, who was designated to that person, wrote about them. So how we knew that Senza Ngakona was a handsome man who had no flaws is because ihasho zake, they exactly say that. His praise songs, I suppose, or Inyosi Yake would write that. And so throughout history, when you speak to Zulu people, whenever they speak of, ihasho zake are said, and that's how we know. So one day, Relebogile will have her own Inyosi who will describe her, her physicalities and how she made people feel, who she was in the world. And those are the things that I would probably say that a lot of the cast members had to lean on. When it comes to character, it's a different kind of story because with character, there's a lot of building blocks. Who are they to our historical figure? Who are they in the world? In what ways would they have influenced Mkabai? And so with building those characters, that's that small little leeway, that small little marginal line of creative license of who are the people that may have influenced the world of Guanobamba, the world of Gonyambose, So those are the kinds of things that I think when people really lean into the characters and lean into the world of Shaka iLembe need to remember. So even with Anandi, I had to lean on that. How did she walk? Ihasho zake say, uketekete. Which is basically somebody who was very loud. Unlike me, obviously, I'm very soft-spoken.
Yes.
Which describes how she walked. So those are the kinds of things that we had to lean on when it came to historical.
Yeah, they give
references.
you clues. They give you clues from them.
They
and
give
then,
you clues.
History leaps from one event to the other, but history very seldom tells you who the character was. And so you've got to take those historical events and say, what kind of person would do that? What kind of conversations would they have had before they did that? What might have turned them to feel such anger that they might do that? So, you're sort of taking an event and then you go backwards all the time to say, what would have happened before that event? And that starts to tell who that character is.
What's so fascinating is the fact that that's a lot of the work we do of studying people. It's a kind of psychology for you to even say what kind of a person would do this. So those of you who have not started watching season 2, maybe you haven't even started watching season 1, catch up so that you can just follow, catch up.
Nothing to be proud of.
You should be ashamed. But just in terms of like what you said of the in-between moments and the day-to-day things that just happen where there's nothing eventful. There were still very much full human beings in those days as well. So I find it just absolutely fascinating how you had to get those details in such a beautiful way. I see some of your messages coming through on the WhatsApp line 0727021702 or give us a call 011 883 0702.
We are woven into the same soil that shapes South Africa. Its dreams, its energy, its promise. These guide us. Together we've built progress, hand in hand, from the mines to bustling main streets, from one generation to the next. With communities, government and partners, every initiative from healthcare to education, youth empowerment to entrepreneurship lights the way forward. Because we don't just mine minerals, we mine possibility and progress with purpose. Together, we're shaping what's next. Mining potential, building beyond. Anglo-American.
Zinzi, the Gen Z. Word on the street is you sold your car.
Yes, and I needed a glow up. Hashtag no hustle, no hassle.
So wait. The influencer got influenced by We Buy Cars.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And they came to me. They checked the car, they gave me an offer. Oh, and they paid me immediately. Easier than an Insta Live, without the weird DMs at 2 a.m.
I didn't understand half of the things you just said, but hey, We buy cars. Geared for the glow up, geared for you.
Hey, honey, look. Went to the shops, like you asked, and it was the Deco Fern birthday sale. Picked up this amazing 3-seater sofa for only $5,599. And this coffee table, just $489. Oh, and this gorgeous standing mirror for like $699.
Wow, I just asked you to get some milk.
Get deals worth celebrating at Deco Furniture's epic birthday sale with 10 to 40% and more off everything in-store or online now at decofurnsa.co.za.
Invest in peace of mind with the water tank from CashBuild. Store water for your garden, your home, your family, and save every drop. We have tanks of all sizes built to last so you can have water on demand. Plus, CashBuild offers free local delivery. Get your water tank at CashBuild today and start saving. CashBuild, quality building materials, tools, paint, and hardware at the lowest prices.
CashBuild. Weekday evenings at 6.
A group of homeowners have been allowed to certify their class action. The homeowners believe the banks must compensate them after repossessing their homes and then selling them through execution sales or auctions.
This doesn't happen anywhere else in the world to this degree. So it's particularly South African phenomena. It could be just the banks being negligent and irrational.
Advocate Douglas Shaw leading that legal effort.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by ABSA CIB. ABSA is a proud lead sponsor of B20 South Africa 2025. ABSA is a registered FSP. Your story matters. 702. Let's walk the talk.
702.
Masterclass.
10 minutes to 3 o'clock, our masterclass on producing a TV series based on historical events. We continue with our team from Shaka, iLembe, Nomza Mabotja, Jacob Njangase, and Desiree Maghraf. I want to quickly go to all your messages and calls. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. At Lindile on X says, Relebogile, right? I went to BOM about 4 or 5 years ago and there were rooms filled with Zulu essentials. Their research from spears, baskets and garments. That long ago, I knew we would be in for a treat. And I'm glad that you got exposed to that because people don't realize how long the journey actually is from the idea to it going on air. How long in total? Till from the first time that you had a formal meeting to the first episode being aired of season 1?
Way over 8 years. I mean, we started talking about it 10 years ago or something, but 8 years before it takes long to do a show like this.
Oh, one person on the WhatsApp line says, as a Zulu, I am proud of the presentation, the costume, the language, the landscapes, but I think it's not for the faint-hearted. Thankfully, I can watch a recorded version so I can fast forward where the cruelty is too much. Another one says, Relebogile and your guests, thanks for beautifully crafted, insightful and informative masterclass. Your works are firsts in many ways and will be remembered for many generations to come. You are all very precious and should be proud. Dr. Philemon Mahuma. And there is a recommendation for a person. One person says they would love a story on Rassie Erasmus. I mean, there is something in that water that man is drinking.
Absolutely.
That would make for a phenomenal story. Desiree, I want to
ready for it.
Right? I want to quickly touch on, and I mean, you mentioned it at the premiere, that there are financiers that need to come on board. There are people who I know are listening who maybe don't even understand the part of, because I'm sure you guys get sent stories every single day, but there is a misalignment with the fact that people think you just go to a channel and then they say, great, here's your money. Can you give us a little 1-minute on the magnitude of raising the funds for a project of this nature? And a multi-choice saying, yes, we're in, doesn't mean it's done.
Yeah. I mean, first, that's a big reason why it took so long to get done, because you come with a big idea and obviously it's got a big cost attached to it, especially a period piece. Everything has to be created from scratch. As you know, the research alone, we spend so many years researching. That's a cost because you've got to have high quality people out there in the field researching and, gathering all this information and then breaking that information down. So that's already a big cost. And then by the time you go out there looking for money, There are so many obstacles in front of you. So we had actually spent, we went looking for money locally, we went looking for money internationally. We felt like this is such a big story. We could look for money from government. We could get all the broadcasters together. I mean, that was naive thinking.
But also,
there's a lot of competition there.
Also understanding just the nature of where we are with our rand.
Yeah,
once you start reaching beyond your 100 mil, it almost feels like, well, the market at the moment does not have a production that we work on at this cost per minute.
And, then you're faced with the challenge. As soon as you look for international money, they want international stars. And then you start to talk about what is that impact on language. And for us, it was absolutely a no-go. We did not want international stars, and we did not want to do it in anything other than isiZulu. So, those were already decisions that we'd made. So that
And
minimized.
Kudos to you for that, because I think people don't realize how difficult it is when you have a clear vision and you're saying no to money.
Yeah.
Like it's a very painful thing, but you stayed the course.
Yeah. And, so we, after a lot of hard work, we got a lot of people on board, and we were kind of there where we'd packaged the money together by multiple sources. And then COVID hit us. And COVID killed the money because...
Did somebody say it was the ancestors? Did somebody make reference to say it was... Shaka said no.
But I want to tell you, I think that's a big point.
I was going to say, did anything spiritual happen on...
Big spiritual things. But let me just finish this. So we lose all the money in the COVID moment because obviously other things need money.
Yeah.
And I said this at the launch, and then a big shout out to Mnet and in specific to Calvo, the CEO, because in that moment when we lost it all, we had this Hail Mary pitch where we had to go in and really say, please, we can't let this project fall apart at this moment. We're so close to making it happen. And in that moment, he took a big leap of faith. And I'm telling you, I think that ancestors were with us. And we respected that all the way. From the very first day that we went on to set to say, where might we shoot? We brought Nyosi and Leche with us. We asked the ancestors. We did a prayer. We said, are you okay with us telling the story? Do you approve of the landscape that we've chosen? At every step, when the crew came on board, we did the same thing. It was an extremely spiritual set from day one, and I think we've been protected.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm so heartbroken that our time is up, and I knew I said it, so I'll speak to my producer and see if there's any way we can have a part 2 of sorts, because there are so many people who maybe in their own little worlds, be it you're in Limpopo, Mpumalanga, you want to tell a story, and this would be a moment for you. Abudi, Ntate, Bomme Desiree, Nomzamo, Nandiwarona, thank you so much to all of you for coming through.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you
for having us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you very much.
It's that time of the year, and this winter's gearing up to be colder than ever. Don't stress. Takealot is getting you all cozied up with savings of up to 45% of winter home essentials, from the kitchen to your bedroom and all around home improvements. You can get it all online and delivered for free on the same day with Takealot More. Download the Takealot app to get everything you need this winter.
Elevate your flying experience with Lift Premium. Enjoy even more space, comfort, and convenience with priority boarding, extra baggage allowance, and complimentary lounge access. Visit lift.co.za today.
We plan for vacations, retirement, and even tonight's dinner. But do we plan for our health? It's how we protect our family's future. So who are you staying healthy for? And how can you protect their future? Choose Dis-Chem Life, the life cover that helps you live a healthier, more rewarding life with health checks and extra rewards. Visit dischemlife.co.za now. Dis-Chem Life. Choose a better partner for life. Dis-Chem Life is an authorized FSP 50594, underwritten by Guardrisk Life, a licensed life insurer, FSP 76. T's and C's apply.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. to give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
In today's fast-paced digital world, staying connected isn't just important, it is essential. That's why MTN has launched a powerful new app to drive digital transformation and help people and businesses live smarter, more connected lives. Catch 702 in conversation with MTN this Thursday on 702 Drive with John Pullman as we discuss how MTN is simplifying, securing and improving your mobile experience with its new app. Don't miss it. MTN, today we make moves on 702. And on that note, thanks for joining us. We're back tomorrow, primemediaplus.com, or download the app for all the conversations. It's 3 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Edgar Lungu's family agrees to halt his burial, and Dada Morero says the motion against him is malicious. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The family of late former Zambian President Edgar Lungu has agreed to halt his burial pending the outcome of a court challenge over the location of his final resting place. A funeral service